One of the gentlemen, his name is Bob Healy, came to our conference with a quasi-functional prototype. He had terminal cancer, and Bob came to me and said, "Help me."
Entrepreneur Clay Clark has built several multi-million-dollar businesses. Now, he helps budding entrepreneurs like Bob turbocharge their ideas with a 14-step plan.
And grillblazer.com is now a massively successful company that's becoming a household name in many American homes.
This is American Thought Leaders, and I'm Yanya Kellick.
Let me introduce you to the grill gun.
Oh! I would have greened that anyway.
I need that!
Yes!
That is sweet!
You want full power?
I'm Bob Healy, and I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm in the charcoal grilling industry, and the name of my business is Grill Blazer. How will I apply what I've learned so far into my business? I'm actually a client of Thrive15, and I learn so much from what I'm learning at this conference and from my regular weekly attendance that it's helping me establish the business and get it off the ground.
Gentlemen, let me introduce you to the grill gun.
Oh! I would have greened that anyway.
I need that!
Yes!
This nozzle on the top, you slightly turn like almost nothing, so a little bit of the gas starts coming out, and then you press the trigger. You can either turn the nozzle on the top to have more power, and this one here is a full power trigger, basically madness. You push it down and yeah. It is a lot of fun. Check it out!
You're gonna super glue that?
I will.
Oh! Yeah!
Everything that you see is authentically Clay. It's a great deal of fun. Everybody enjoys it. They know when they walk in, they think they're coming into a carnival, and frankly they are. It's just great fun. There's not another conference like it. You just don't go to a carnival atmosphere and learn like you do here at a Thrive conference. It's great. The reason people should attend at least one of these conferences is because it's common sense. And everybody's fed an entire line about the way you should run a business, but until you actually experience running a business, which is candidly what you learn here, how to run a business, you don't know what you're doing.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
He said that speed means nothing if you're headed in the wrong direction. It just gets you lost faster. You've probably seen it. Someone working like crazy, always busy, always in motion. But you step back and ask yourself where they're actually going. And the answer is nowhere meaningful. Because they never stop long enough to think, to check the map, to figure out if the direction matched the destination. That's the danger. Speed gives you the illusion of progress. You feel productive. You feel accomplished. But what you're really doing is moving in circles, fast ones. It's like being on a treadmill. You're running, sweating, burning energy, but you're not going anywhere. And if you're not careful, you'll look up one day and realize you've been sprinting full speed in the wrong direction for years. Now listen, I'm not talking about moving slow just for the sake of it. It's not about waiting around. It's about moving on purpose, moving with clarity, moving with a sense of direction. Because when you combine direction with speed, that's when things take off. That's when momentum turns into progress. But direction has to come first. The most successful people I've met weren't always the fastest starters. They weren't always the ones making the most noise, but they were clear. Clear on where they were going, clear on why they were going there. and clear on what mattered. And because of that clarity, every step they took moved them closer, not just faster. So I want to talk about why speed alone is dangerous, how direction creates momentum, what it costs to take the wrong path, and how to stay focused, even when the world around you is moving fast. Because at the end of the day, the winners aren't the ones who go the fastest. They're the ones who knew where they were going and got there on purpose. Speed feels good. It makes you feel like you're doing something, like you're ahead, like you're making progress. You check off tasks, reply to emails, rush through meetings, fill your calendar, and it feels productive. But here's what I've learned. Busy doesn't mean effective, and speed doesn't mean progress, not unless it's pointed in the right direction.
One of the most important things that you will ever do or not do in your life is to value and seek wise counsel. To be coached hard means you have to be willing to be uncomfortable.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zillner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clyde started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Well, Thrive Nation, on part 1 of today's show, we really talked about how to transform your mindset and how to take your life and your business to the next level. But on part 2 of today's show, I want to get really granular, and I want to talk about how to get the most out of your day. Just how to get the most out of your day. I mean, we're talking about achieving massive success, but how do you get the most out of your day? And so on today's show, we're joined by a guy who's been a professional athlete. He's been again, this is a one man. He's been a professional athlete. This is a man who's also served as a member of the SWAT team. This is a man who is a doctor. He's an entrepreneur. He's an author. He's produced movies. He does produce movies. This is a man who is a fitness or nutritional coach of some kind. There's a lot of different hats that he could wear, and a lot of those hats a lot of people would say, you know, wow, if I'm good at one of those things, that's probably enough there. But this man has been successful in multiple areas, and he's going to talk to us today about how to get the most out of our day. And with that being said, the founder of Sherwood.tv, Dr. Sherwood, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Clay. Thanks for always having me, and thank you for your kind introduction as always.
I'm going to give you some space to really break it down here, but for the listeners out there that want to learn how you go about organizing your day, I really want to give you the space and the time to break that process down. You know, so if you could kind of walk us through, you know, when you start your day, like walk us through what a 24-hour day looks like, because I know you prioritize time for fitness, for family, for faith, for finance. You do so many things well, and you seem to be able to get it done in a world where a lot of people run out of time. So walk us through your process for organizing your day.
Well, first of all, I'm understanding there's 1,440 minutes in a day. And I know that no one gets more than that, and some may get less, but that's the max limit for all of us. And so when I go through that, I figure if I prioritize those minutes carefully, I can maximize the time to the optimum benefit. And I start off every day with the things I feel are most important. And I have a schedule. We talked about that schedule, and I'll get more into that in a moment if you'd like. But I start off with what things are important. When I wake up, I get quiet. And the first thing I do is I'll get quiet and I'll meditate/pray. And for me, it's a conversation with my Heavenly Father, the Lord Almighty, God Himself. And I want to talk with Him and hear from Him and just kind of prepare myself for the day ahead. And at that time, I don't make any bones about it. I really much do a couple different things. First of all, I'm thankful for the day and in that conversation, and I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful that I have an opportunity to be a blessing to her, and then I want to be a blessing to other people. And I forego the idea of asking for something for myself until I'm asking for something to help other people. So I do that first, and then I'll go from there, and so I prioritize my spiritual health, which bleeds right into my physical health and my physical well-being, which bleeds into my emotional being. So when I'm physically exerting myself at the gym after that, that's helping me emotionally deal with what I have to deal with intellectually later in life. So later in the day, I'll go to work after that, start in the morning, start seeing clients typically at 8 o'clock a.m. on a typical day and work straight through, and don't really get off of that schedule until probably at 5:30 or 6 or 6:30 in the typical night. Then I go home and I spend time with my wife again. And I'm not trying to waste any time. I'm trying to be really specific with it. And then I'll go to bed between typically 8 and 8:30 because I'm going to get up every day at 4 a.m. And so just like you do, I get up early, and my day is structured out. It's scheduled in every 15 to 30-minute windows like we've talked about before. And I've realized if I don't have a plan, like the old saying goes, I plan to fail. But if I do have a plan, I plan to succeed. And I work diligently to get those things done every day. And at the end of the day, I look back on it and reflect, did I do a good job? Did I give every appointment, every person, every client my best? Did I give Clay Clark my best in my time on the Thrivetime show today? And if I didn't, I want to do it better tomorrow. So I'm looking and being my own worst introspective critic, I suppose. And then I'll wake up another day, I do it again. And so that's kind of where my day lies most days.
Where do you find time to watch 11.3 hours of random social media? Nielsen says, I mean, if you're this productive, I don't know how you're finding time to do this. Nielsen reports that time flies. U.S. adults now spend nearly half a day interacting with the media. That was as of July of 2018. The average person was spending 11.3 hours per day consuming media. That was in 2018. Who knows how much it is today? How could you possibly find time to consume all of the mindless media with a schedule that's that intentional? Dr. Sherwood, how do you find time to consume mindless media?
Well, I just can't seem to find the time to do that. I will scan social media perhaps in the morning before I go to the gym, maybe after prayer time, because I'm trying to just catch up on the latest news. I don't get enthralled in it, don't get involved in it, don't get caught up in it at all. I just want to know what's going on. I like sports. I like to find out what's happening in politics. As a former candidate myself, I find that fascinating. I don't get into the gossip sections and all. I just think that those things are important to know what's going on in the world. So I do that just so I can be kind of up to date on what's happening around me, but I don't get engaged in that too much at all.
When do you find time to get engaged with mindless gossip? Because a lot of people spend huge amounts of time per day, talking about things they can't control and talking about people that aren't in the room. When do you find time to speak negatively about people that aren't around, or just to sow strife and divisiveness and to talk about relationships that happened 20 years ago? When do you find time for good quality gossip?
That's one of my pet peeves in life. Even when I'm publicly speaking, I'm going to be very careful about talking bad about somebody else. I talk about observations a lot, but I know that this is true. If I'm up there talking about somebody else, publicly speaking or privately with someone else, someone's talking about me as well. And I don't like that, but it's going to happen. I know people have talked about us behind our back, both of us. It's the way it is. That's part of just being leaders. And that happens. Jealousy, animosity, anger, whatever, angst, that whatever that may be. But I don't think that's productive at all. It does something inside of the people involved, including myself. I'm not averse from being a blessing or being a moron every day, but it does something inside of you that's not positive. And when you come across like that, all we're doing is serving up strife to our brethren, people around us, and that doesn't serve us well to try to provide hope. So I'm really cautious about that, and I'd rather kind of hang out by myself anytime than hang out with even 5 people that may be high influence that want to talk about other people. I just don't need that. I don't think it's not good for me as a human being, and I don't think it's good for anybody involved, quite frankly.
When do you find time to lament? Focus on things you can't control and just sort of complain about things, because I think a lot of times it's a lot of times people could be productive, but we could be, but really what we want to do to make sure we're not productive is we want to go on social media for 11.3 hours per day. We want to get involved in conversations about gossip, and then we want to just focus on things we can't control that happened 20 years ago. We want to sit there and talk about the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the business, the failure, the whatever that was, the relationship that ended. And then we want to just kind of, maybe go up on social media, find pictures of them, find like find a way to rekindle it, maybe look through old photos of people that aren't in our lives anymore. And we want to just sort of lament on the past, because we don't want to be successful. We've got to, if we're not careful, we'll become successful and we'll start focusing on the future. And we don't want to move forward. We want to focus on things in the past so that way we can be held back. When do you find time to lament and to go back and think about distant relationships and things gone badly and things that didn't work out? When do you find time for some good quality lamenting?
Well, I'll use a principle that you know about. It's called the multiplication principle. And what you spend time on will spend time multiplying within you, or what you spend time on will spend time multiplying upon you. And when you spend time complaining, you are going to spend time complaining, and it's going to begin to come back upon you as well. And every time you do that, the more times you mount that stuff upon you, the more time you're taking away from productivity. Productivity is also factored by the multiplication principle. The more time you are productive, the more productive you'll be. And it's almost like judgment or blessing. It's the same principles. And so I'm one that I would rather spend time doing something that's going to multiply blessings as opposed to going to multiply cursings. And, a lot of people, as you mentioned correctly, the more time you find in these multiplication principles like this, it becomes addictive. You can become addicted to complaining, or you can become addicted to being a productive human being. And you can become so addicted it's hard to get out of it, So I like to think that I'm addicted to being productive, and I'm not going to waste my time with things I could complain about. Now, have I complained about things? Yes, of course I have. Nobody's immune from that. But I want to catch myself so it doesn't become that thing that infects me.
How do you find time? Again, folks, this is Dr. Sherwood, a very productive guy, and I'm trying to help. Really, and he's not being super cooperative. You're not being super cooperative on some of these questions, and I'll try better to ask the questions better. But a lot of times to become unsuccessful, you have to find. Again, Napoleon Hill has written books. Okay, there's a book called Laws of Success, and Napoleon Hill breaks down the things that all successful people do. And he breaks it down, and the successful people, they're quick to make decisions. Successful people don't waste time on gossip. Successful people don't surround themselves with negative people. Successful people don't have addictions to drugs and alcohol and gambling. So I got to ask you this. I mean, where do you find time with your busy schedule for alcohol, gambling, and drugs? How do you, I mean, you're a very busy guy, very productive. Where do you find time for alcohol, tobacco, drugs, video games? Where do you find time for that?
Well, I don't play video games. The only drug that I'm probably addicted to is the kind of a dopamine drug, which I get from being a good human being productive, and maybe going to the gym or something like that. I suppose if dopamine's a drug. And I may have a glass of wine occasionally with my wife, maybe once or twice a week. You mentioned family earlier. My wife is my best friend. I know that Vanessa is your best friend as well, and you have that bond that there's nobody I'd rather be around. I don't like to just hang out and just go places and just sit down. I like to have a purpose behind it that's intellectually stimulating. And my wife, we have a date night every Friday night, and we make that a priority. And we do it just us. Nobody's invited. It's not anything personal, but I just like to spend time with her and be quiet, and that's a priority. And so, that's the only time I really may have some wine with my wife.
Now, I know you're a guy that carves out time to hit the gym. You're a guy who carves out time to write books. A lot of Americans, are spending huge amounts of time watching Netflix and watching random movies, maybe watching the same movie for the seventh time, finding a Netflix series that they have to watch. When do you find time to watch mindless movies and to scroll through Netflix? When are you finding time to watch mindless movies and to sort through Netflix? I want to know, because you're a very productive person. How do you carve out time for this sort of jackassery?
Well, I find that if rather than watching movies, I'm going to make a movie. And so I've decided to, with our production company endeavors, we've made now 8 movies. We just are wrapping one up this next week, coincidentally, that's starring Lou Ferrigno and also Jimmy J.J. Walker. It's about a guy with Alzheimer's, and we've tried to make movies that are both educational, comedic, drama filled, and inspirational, that the whole family can watch. And I found that if I can be a part of something like that, it can be creating something that's not mindless, that doesn't promote negativity, it doesn't promote anger, it promotes wholesomeness and inspiration about the belief in mankind and their true stories.
A lot of people, again, if you read Napoleon Hill's book, Laws of Success, which nobody watching today's show should read, because if you're trying to not be productive, you don't want to read this book. If you're committed to not being successful, you wouldn't want to read Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. But one of the things he finds is that people will spend their days in their life. Some of the most unsuccessful people will spend their days engulfed in anger and arguing with people about things that are not solvable. How do you find time? Again, you're super productive. You've been productive as a SWAT team member. You've been productive as an entrepreneur, as an author, as a creator of movies, as a health expert, as a professional athlete. When do you find time to call up people you don't agree with and to argue with them for hours? I mean, just hours and hours. How do you find time for that?
It is folly to try to correct a fool. You can't do that. So I'm not going to argue with somebody who doesn't want to have a discussion. And it's not my job to correct anybody. If I have something against somebody, if they've done something that, tried to hurt me or something, if I feel led and it's bugging me, I'm going to call them up directly or look them in the eyeball and say, hey, man, I just forgive you for that. You didn't have to do that. I'm not going to hold a grudge or bitterness, because that never does anything good, and you're right about Napoleon Hill's writings. The guy really has it figured out. And these basic principles of not going to bed angry and not staying angry and not being vindictive and always spent trying to lift somebody up or do something good for somebody else, staying very focused. They're extraordinarily true, and they're spot on point, and they have been for the last, 2 or 3 centuries. And it's always like that. So I'm not going to spend my time being angry. I'm not going to spend my time talking about anger, and I'm not going to spend my time talking about a lot of things that just make me mad, because it's when we are angry, we don't think as clearly. We're stuck in a reactive brain instead of a reasonable, rational brain. We're stuck in our emotions as opposed to being stuck in maybe logic or maybe our purpose or passion. And when you're led by emotions, Clay, when you're led by anger, you'll typically be reactive instead of proactive. And I find that I make better decisions when I'm proactive as opposed to reactive.
Now, Napoleon Hill says, and again, Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is a great book by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich, also Laws of Success. He talks about how you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. He might call it the mastermind principle, but you surround yourself. If you want to become successful, and I'm sure that nobody listening to today's show wants to become successful, but if you want to become successful, what you're going to do is you're going to want to surround yourself with people that they don't have to be super successful, but people that are wanting to be upwardly mobile, people that are trying to achieve more, people that are trying to do the best they can with their God-given talent. You want to surround yourself with people that are trying to be the best version of themselves they can be. And I know that you're a very successful entrepreneur. So when do you find time to do you have any time at all to spend time with idiots and negative people that are going nowhere? Because I think that's a big thing that holds people back. And I know that that's a big thing that, I would think that you're trying to carve out time for. You don't want to become too successful. How are you finding time to hang out with negative people, divisive people, gossip spreaders, divisive relationships, people that screw each other over, the kind of people that don't engage in win-win relationships, the kind of people that chronically create problems and urgent emotional dilemmas? When do you find time to spend time with the true bottom feeders amongst us?
That's funny. I will not do that. I find it just utterly disturbing and boring and needless to spend time in situations like that. I just won't do it. You see me out in a lot of public circles, especially during the Reawaken tour, and there were times where we've had all kinds of people through that, that believe a bunch of different things, and some people in that were, kind of fall in that camp. They did, and so there were times where I would just disappear because I got tired of it because it was like, oh, it'll drain the life out of you, and so when you spend time with people that, and what I mean, again, defining spending time, what does it mean spending time? Does that mean you spend every waking moment with them? Does it spend time, talking with them, or maybe talking with them just occasionally, observing what they do? For example, I watch what you do. I listen to what you do, even though we talk once a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week on little short phone calls and maybe events. But I watch what you do. I would consider you a successful person, and I watch what you do that I think would be something I want to emulate, the positives. I want to really emulate those things, and I want to learn. And I do that for 2 or 3 other people as well. And I find that time, if spent properly and spent in a wise manner, can be done even at a distance or even with in short windows if it's really adhered to with its importance and it's really embraced with all of its potential. Like I embrace the times we have together because there's a potential there that's going to help both of us, and I like that.
All right. Well, now one of the reasons that people fail in life is ill health. Ill health.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill writes about it. Ill health. When do you find time to binge eat? I mean, a lot of times people come back after a busy day. And again, Napoleon Hill talks about one of the reasons why people fail is just ill health, which is caused by typically overeating, over consuming, that kind of thing. And so looking at you and look at how fit you are, I am, slightly concerned that a guy like you with as much fitness as you have and the health that you've been able to develop and the physique you've been able to develop, I feel like you might not be carving out enough time to treat yourself to unlimited cheesecake or being able to, you don't seem to be carving out time to binge eat Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I don't know that you're going to what is it, Crumble Cookie? You're not going to Crumble Cookie. When are you finding time to eat junk food late at night? How do you carve out time for that?
Well, I view binging, eating junk food as punishment. And so if you would ask me that question in a different way, it would be, when do you find time to punish yourself? And I hope never. I don't do that. The greatest distractions in life, Clay, are death, disease, sickness, and lack. And I'll say that one more time for people: death, disease, sickness, and lack. Those 4 areas are distracting to achieving the totality of the fullness of life. Because when you're focused on death, disease, sickness, and lack, you're focused on things that can take away or never enough, and they can hurt you and take away life. And again, just the very phraseology I just used, take away life, you're focusing on death, disease, sickness, and lack. That is a concerning thing that will take away the life of the human being. And I don't want to focus on that. So I try to focus on the things that bring life and do the things in an intentional manner, like exercise and think about sleeping and think about eating right and managing stress and not spending time, in anger, hate-filled conversations that just do nothing but make people mad and gang up on somebody else and gossip about them. I'm just not going to do that. I've got better things to do, and I want to be a blessing to mankind, and I don't want to be distracted in that passion and call of being a blessing.
Why be a passionate, assistant to mankind when you could be an enlargement to the behind? I mean, why not just go and spend copious amounts of time Binge eating. Again, you think about success. I really do believe this now, switching gears a little bit. To become successful, it's about saying no. You have to say no to grow. You have to say no to things that by default we're going to do. And so I want to, for someone watching today's show, they say, look, I want to turn my life around right now. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. Okay, I've been having some fun, but now I want to turn it around. Dr. Sherwood, walk us through the solutions you have at Sherwood.tv. The final 5 minutes, I want to give you the floor here. What else the solutions you have at Sherwood.tv?
Well, certainly when you look at making a decision to turn the life around in all aspects, you have to walk through something called fear. The fear of the unknown, the fear of the maybe I can't, the fear of discouragement, the fear of failure. But fear always stands, Clay, at the door of your greatest opportunity for success. So fear is going to yell at you. Fear is going to discourage you. Right at that moment that you're supposed to break right through that. Fear is like a prison. The more you're in that prison, the more comfortable you get in that prison, the more angst you get about being out of that prison. So fear will try to keep you locked up, where if you had the ability and drive to get out of that, you have the ability to be freed up. So do you choose to be locked up or freed up? Most people are locked up in their health. They don't know how to change, and the fear of change, the unknown, stops them from doing it. But I'm here to tell you that my wife and I and the rest of our team here at the Functional Medical Institute, wherever you are in the U.S. or world, we're going to team up beside you and help you walk out of that prison to where you can actually get this, lose excess fat tissue and become excess fat gain resistant. You can actually get the right supplements you need. You can get the right hormones and peptides you need. You can get the right lifestyle plan you need. You can get well and stay well, and getting sick becomes something of the anomaly. It's very rare. You can get off unnecessary usage of medications that you never needed by correcting physiological pathways where your body starts working well again. And you can learn a lot of cool stuff. If we do our job right, we not only teach you how to get out of that mess, but how to stay out of that mess and how to teach other people. So we are teachers and trainers by trade. And if we do our job right, you become teachers as well. And you can begin to change your family, your kids. You can begin to change your future. And that's the thing we want to give people. Give them back their life, give them their freedom, give them their health, give them their hope. And when we do that, experience that, you're never going to go back, because it's too awesome to live out here. And then you realize what took me so long. So we experienced that quite a bit. But that's basically our purpose, to give people their life back and lead people down a pathway of what we consider true healing.
You mentioned if people feel locked up. What if somebody wants to feel locked up? What if they're not constipated, but they want to become constipated? What are the foods that allow people to become constipated? No, seriously, I want to ask you, for somebody watching today's show and they're like, listen, I'm tired of the lack of blockage. I want to clog it up. And I want to what are the things that cause inflammation and just locking it up? What are those things? You know this. What are the things that they just lock it up? Just close up the pipeline and just back it up and get you filled with your own excrement. What is that?
If you want to be locked up and sick and inflamed, you begin to consume every single food the government subsidizes. Yes, the government subsidizes sugars, grains, breads, dairies, corn, soy, and all processed foods. Just really invest in your government's direction of health. Listen to what they say. Do what they do. Go to McDonald's every day. I guarantee you'll experience the blessing of being locked up.
I don't know if this is going to end well, but I'll bring it up here. I mean, there's somebody out there that says, but what about Pop-Tarts, man? How are you finding time to eat Pop-Tarts? I mean, Pop-Tarts are really, whether it's Pop-Tarts or Hot Pockets, I'm not sure which one is you're missing out on the most. But when do you find time to eat those Pop-Tarts? I mean, you're always looking so physically fit and staying in shape. Do you ever carve out time to just have some Hot Pockets and Pop-Tarts?
I probably, the last time I had a Hot Pocket or a Pop-Tarts is probably 30 years ago. I don't even remember where I was or what I was doing, but it was before I knew better. And so I just try to avoid those things. I don't condemn anybody else for doing it, but the more education we get and the more we realize those things, they're not any good for you. They're not any good for your kids. It's like there's no reason to do that, and just kind of to think you could have a better life, stay away from those things.
All right, Dr. Sherwood, clearly you are not carving out enough time to do what it takes to be unsuccessful, to be poor, to be dumb, to be fat, to be bloated. And we're just hoping that you'll carve out time to join, the people out there that really want to hang out with you at a local casino, chain smoking late into the night while eating Hot Pockets. So hopefully you'll carve out time in the future for taking the steps needed to become unsuccessful. Dr. Sherwood, I'll give you the final 30 seconds. What would you say to listeners out there that really do want to do better? They want to be better. They want to have success. What do you say?
I'd say two things. You were in rare form today, sir. The second thing, if people want to make a change, man, the change time is now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't make excuses. Excuses are like the backside of a pig. The closer you get to them, the more they stink. They never really mean anything. So eliminate all excuses. Strive for excellence. Set the bar high. Let us help you get there. And if you want to reach out to us, man, we are more than willing to partner with you in your best journey and best days ahead.
Dr. Sherwood, you're a great American. I'm sure you smell terrific. You certainly sound like you smell terrific. And I hope we will talk to you next week, my friend. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Clay.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people talk about having success. A lot of people want to have success, but there is a proven path to achieve success. And about 4 years ago, I had the opportunity to connect with somebody by the name of Dr. Mark Sherwood. My good friend Aaron Antis swore by the results of Dr. Sherwood. My good friend Pastor Craig Hagan swore by the results of Dr. Sherwood. And we had a chance to team up, and it's been an honor to team up with his practice and to help him grow his medical practice. And if you're out there today and you want to grow your business, on today's show, we're going to talk about growing your business and what happens when you diligently implement a proven plan. And here to talk about it is Dr. Sherwood. Welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Clay. Thanks for having me. And it has been an honor, hasn't it? What a ride and what a journey it's been.
Now, without getting into the specific financial numbers, you and I were talking offline, and I believe since you and I first talked on the phone to today, I believe you're about 7 times larger. Is that an accurate number? Am I getting that number wrong in some capacity?
No, it's at least 7, closer to 8. Yeah.
And that's so many people talk about growing their business by 2% or 5% or 12%. I want to give people some real facts here. We're going to go here to Inc. I'm going to do a search right now on Google. I want everyone to do it with me. Assume I'm making this up. Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail. That's according to Inc. magazine. That's not clayclark.com. 96%. Now, if you go to usdebtclock.com, which is, by the way, a great way to get depressed. If you go to usdebtclock.org, you'll see that in America today, we only have 9.3 million self-employed people and a country of 336 million. So if even 10% of our country was self-employed, that'd be 36 million self-employed people. But we only have 9 million self-employed people. So we're talking about, it's like less than 3% of our population is even self-employed to begin with. And so if less than 3% of our population is self-employed, and 96% of businesses fail, by default, folks, you've got, it's a very, very small percentage chance of being successful by default. And so what I want to focus on is the implementing a proven path and a proven system. So step number 1, since you and I have connected, I didn't teach this to you, but you do it. You diligently implement a plan. Can you talk about that? Because every week, you and I, we connect every week, in this case, there's a plan that you do, and I won't get into all the details, but you do it every single week. You do it in the gym. You do it in your business. Talk about implementing a proven routine every day.
Well, I think the end of the story of a routine is it produces predictability. And so I look at it like this, good habits done consistently over time provides reliability, which gives you consistency, which gives you faithfulness, which gives you trust. Now, trust is a big deal. Does that trust mean you trust yourself? I hope so. Does it trust mean that your customers or clientele trust you? They do, because it's predictable. The thing that people can't stand, Clay, is unpredictability or chaos or just anxiety that's driven in businesses. So we facilitate that culture from the top down, the bottom up. And as you mentioned, every day, I get up and I'm very routine, and so are you. We started working together I remember you telling me you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, blah, 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 blah. And I did, I probably wake up about an hour after you, boom, boom, boom. But it's very predictable. People know where we are, what we're going to do, what we're about, and it creates an expectation. And I think that, among other things, has been a key element to experiencing, the 800% growth we've had, which is to me, it wasn't that hard because it's a process that works.
Now, next question I want to ask you is focus on what you need to do, but then say no to the things you don't need to do. Again, you have to say no to grow. So yes, you're diligent and you're consistent, but you're also saying no to grow. And now there are billboards, there are magazines, there are yellow pages. Yes, there are still a few yellow pages. There are billboards, there's magazines, there's local cable TV. There's so many different ways that you could be marketing your business, but you've had to say no to grow. You've had to focus on, and you and your wife, you guys do books, you do documentaries, you do podcast interviews. You have a proven path, a proven trajectory that you're on, but you do have to say no to grow. And sometimes you have to say no to good things in order to say yes to great things. Can you talk about the importance of saying no to grow?
Yeah, specifically in our job, what we do, which is a kind of a wellness based optimization of health practice, right? So the bottom line is I run everything through that filter. And our filter is, does it bring healing to the person? Does it bring betterment to the person? And there's all kinds of procedures, gizmos, gadgets, and whatnots out here that we could get involved in. But I always look at it from this standpoint. It's got to run through that filter and it's got to pass the test. Is it going to take us more time? Is it going to take us more labor? What's the expense of it going to be originally? And what's it going to take for us to recoup the expense, if any? And so I run it through that filter every single time. And if it doesn't hash out, it may be a good thing, but it's not a good thing for us. And people don't understand that. But sometimes the greatest answer is no, because it's a no that protects you from getting hurt. And you mentioned all that advertising mess out there. Clay, we've been approached by, as you know, many, many people to advertise in all kinds of markets. But if you don't know what kind of person that you're after, what is your target demographic, then you can't just throw spitballs out there at the different sources, because you will waste your time and money. And again, in that area, advertising, no to grow is critical.
Now, the next area I want to focus on is having a linear workflow or a mapped out workflow or a written down process. So many business owners don't have a written down process. So let me just give people an example. I'm going to go up to my website, and then I'll go to your website so people can see this. Very predictable. If people go to thrivetimeshow.com, which, by the way, folks, we have about 5 to 10 people a day that often reach out looking for help growing their company. Now, I only take on 160 clients. That's not a spiritual number. That's not a reason. I don't do that for any spiritual reason. It's just I have found that with my team, I like to not have more than 160 clients so that I can meet all my clients. And those clients, they schedule a free consultation. And in order to do that, I have a kind of a call screener that sets up an appointment. They hop on the phone. They find out if they're a good fit for a free consultation. Then my team books the free consultation for me. And because our average client is with us for 6 years or longer, if you do the math, we have an opening for a new client about every month or so. So if you look at TWA Photos, this is one of my longtime clients based in Chicago, him, and we're going to hear his success story on part 2 of today's show. He reached out. He filled out the form. A member of my team called Tim to see if he was a good fit. I then coached Tim on the first call, found out he's a good fit, did my assessment, found out he's a good fit, coached him through what we're going to do, laid out the proven plan. True story, and you're going to hear it on part 2 of today's show. Tim went on to build a very, very successful company, and he sold his business. Well, when he sold his business for a big-time exit, guess what that did? That created an opening for another client. And so the process we have over and over and over is you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can schedule a free consultation. My call screener vets that person to see if they're a good fit. If they are a good fit, they do an onboarding with myself. Also, we have conference tickets. We do a conference every 2 months. And I've been doing this since 2005. So since 2005, I've been essentially doing the same process over and over and over. That's why when you click on testimonials, you will literally see thousands of client success stories, just thousands, not 100, not 50, but thousands. So I want to see if you can walk us through, what does the workflow look like when people go to Sherwood.tv? What does that workflow look like?
It's fascinating. And again, you and I just kind of hit it off because we think the same way. So we have, we have an opportunity. People visit our website and we get, hundreds of visitors every day, and people can fill out a little questionnaire. It's like a health assessment questionnaire. It's free. And they get put through a series of, funnel emails to sort of qualify what they want to do. And it sort of kind of vets them at the outset. But if they want to work with us, just like yourself, we have a free webinar that they can go to. At that point, after attending the webinar, Clay, they then have the opportunity at that point to schedule a one-on-one assessment intake appointment with my wife or myself. At that appointment, we determine whether or not they're a good fit. If they're a good fit, we develop a plan for those and execute the same plan with the same formula. It's more personalized for their lives, much like you personalize that plan with the same general processes for that business. We personalize that plan of the same general processes for their life.
Now, when people work with me, with my business, and I'm not a medical business, I have a proven process and a proven system. And so when people go and they go to thrivetimeshow.com and they look at the different success stories, we have companies like oxyfresh.com. We've helped them to grow now to 570 locations, 570. And I could go on just listing examples all day. We take companies like Shaw Homes, help them grow from $15 million to $150 million of revenue. And we just have so many success stories. It truly is epic. And that's why the parent company is called Make Your Life Epic. That is what we do, make your life epic. Dr. Sherwood, I would say what he does is very analogous to what we do for business, he does for your body.
Yeah.
And so, I believe what he does, Dr. Sherwood, Sherwood.tv, what he does for your body is very analogous to what we do for business. We guide people down a proven path, and we actually tell people before they decide to become a client what the path is. We tell people, this is what we're going to do to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I know a lot of people, I would say specifically 3 people that I see on a weekly basis who have lost over 40 pounds since going to Sherwood.tv. So 3 people that I see on a weekly basis have lost over 40 pounds as a result of going to Sherwood.tv, learning about the protocols you offer, and then following those. You tell people in advance what the protocol is going to be. That's very different from a lot of other medical programs that kind of hide the program or the protocol from the potential customer, from the potential patient. They hide it and they say, once you sign up, then we'll teach you the protocol. Why are you so transparent with teaching people what your protocol is going to be before they become a patient?
I think it produces trustworthiness, Clay, because a lot of times with what we do, transparency is key, because my wife and I do it too. And I'm not knocking anybody else. I just know that what you just said is very true. It is analogous to you making someone's company greater. I want to see their lives get greater. I want to optimize their health, give them the biological aging process of speed that's optimal so they're not aging too fast. And so we live it out, we do it. And then it's no secret, man, there are some processes that work. And I tell them, if you're willing to do this, this will work. And they see us doing it every day. We don't hide our lives and we don't shield them. We don't do something, tell them to do something we're not doing ourselves. So I think it's exactly as you said. And to your point, we deal with a lot of entrepreneurs that have worked with you and do work with you. So the interesting overlap is cool. I can think of a couple of people that we've worked with that also are your clients in their business, and I've watched their businesses explode as their personal lives explode. So the synergy there is just astounding to me as I think about that.
Now, I want to walk people through this again here, folks. Again, we're trying to walk you through that. How is it that a doctor, a medical provider, a health facility is able to grow their revenue by 8 times within a period of just a few years? How is that possible when 96% of businesses are failing? One is you have to have a proven plan. Two, you have to implement that plan each and every week. And three, you have to measure what you treasure. You just have to measure what you treasure. You have to track or it's going to slack. And that's true with health, and it's true with wealth. You have to track or it's going to slack. And so any area of our lives, if you're listening right now, you talk about your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, your fun, any area where we are not achieving at our optimal performance, it's probably because we're not measuring what we're treasuring. It's probably we're not focusing on it. And again, I'm not attacking anybody out there. There's somebody out there listening right now. You are in phenomenal physical shape, and financially, you're not in shape. There's somebody else out there listening. You're in great financial shape. You're in great physical shape, but your family's not in great shape. Somebody else out there, you say you got your family, you got your faith, you got your fitness, you got your friendship. But you're really, really in a bad spot in another area. So whatever we measure is what we treasure. Talk about that for a second, because you have a way of helping your patients and your clients to measure what they treasure and to track. And I see people all the time coming into my office of being excited. They've lost 4 pounds. They lost 6 pounds. They lost 9 pounds. They lost 20. They lost 21 pounds. They lost 27 pounds. They lost 30. They lost 40. And you see people gaining confidence every week as they begin to take this massive goal they have and they start to see success day after day. Talk about measuring what you treasure.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to add too in the process, we have quarterly events. I mean, and I didn't, we have those things too, which are kind of cool. That's kind of a culmination of stuff that people can celebrate. But when we talk about measurables, we talk about this all the time. Physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, financial, the 5 parts of a human experience, and so, and I talk to them, I don't get into heavy dealings with their debt though, but I talk to them about eliminating debt and building equity, but I use that same terminology within health. I don't want wellness debt, I want wellness equity. So in other words, if you can't measure it, don't do it. I never do a test unless I know what I'm asking, what questions I'm trying to get answered, and why I'm measuring it. I don't do that. You mentioned weight loss. We have a unique way to measure that, not just about what the scale says, but I'm measuring their body composition, Clay. I'm measuring their percent body fat. I want to know how much muscle they've maintained or grown and how much fat they've been able to lose. I want to know their visceral fat level. I want to know their blood pressure. I want to know all their scores that I can find. We've even got tests that can score their biological aging processes and speeds and actualities. It quantifies that into measurable components. And so we're actually developing right now, and I haven't got it rolled out yet, a quotient. We're going to call it the FMI age, and it's going to be a little massive thing that we're going to put together. Because, I think people are aging in a way that is probably too fast, and I think we can probably age better. But to your point, I concur 1,000%. If you can't measure it and it's not quantifiable, don't do it, because then it becomes a distraction.
Now, I want to tap into your wisdom on this, let you kind of show off what you do a little bit here. One of my wonderful clients is called Kolaw Fitness, and Charles Kolaw, he started out doing personal training. And on part 2 of today's show, folks, you're going to hear his success story too. So you're going to hear the success story of TWA Photos. You're going to hear the success story of Kolaw Fitness. He started out doing personal training, and then he decided, you know what, I want to open up a gym. And then he said, you know what, I want to open up a second gym. And that's where we met him, is as he was scaling the business. And so what he does when people want to lose weight, I'll tell you his secret. He tells them, here's the deal. I need you to not eat wheat, no sweets, and no alcohol. And people are like, what? He's like, no wheat, no sweets, no alcohol. We'll see you 3 days a week working out. And he starts that process. He starts small, no wheat, no sweets, no alcohol, 3 days a week working out. And then over time, they start to add maybe more detail to it, more supplementation, more detail, maybe more vigorousness to it. But they start off with no wheat, no sweets, no alcohol, 3 days a week working out. And then they start to build on that foundation. I want to get your just for anybody out there that's thinking about becoming a Sherwood.tv patient or client, and they're maybe concerned about what's going to be required of them. What sort of life changes need to be made in the lives of people that, are thinking about implementing the Sherwood path? And I know there's a lot of details, a lot of research that you do into each and every patient, but what are a couple practical steps that every single one of your patients has to implement right away?
Well, I appreciate, I know Charles and his wife, great people, by the way, and I concur with what he said. That's a great start for anybody right there. So at least take that. I think for us, our advice would be simply put, If it's real food, eat it, don't diet. If it's in the original package, it's fine. If you can imagine it being in that package in the Garden of Eden, it's fine. So I tell people typically to stay away. It's going to sound crazy. Anything the government subsidizes, don't do it. That's kind of what I tell them with food. And people can go, oh, yeah, I get that, because the government subsidizes wheat, corn, soy, dairy, and that kind of mess, you know. So I tell them stay away from that. Then I tell them that every day I want you to try to get, you know, somewhere between about 7 hours, give or take, is probably if you can get that much. And then I tell them every day that you don't move is a day you're dead. So I want them to move more, sit less. The days you don't move are the day that you are going to be into rigor mortis. So I make sure I tell them that. And then I want them to have the last little bit, speak life over self, man. Don't speak death over self. Because many times people can walk themselves into a process of oblivion by talking themselves into death every day, saying they can't do it.
Now, for anybody out there that hasn't worked with us, I mean, you and I have had the opportunity to work together faithfully each and every week now for years. What would you say the impact has been on your business? You know, working with us, you and I working together. For anybody out there who's maybe thinking about working with us or becoming a client of ours.
Well, without question, people need guidance today, Clay. It's like a ship without a rudder. You know, you represent the rudder. You can teach them how to drive, but you also shift that boat in the right direction. And I would recommend people do connect with you, because you will do a good job. It will be consistent. It will be predictable. And if people just copy these habits, no matter what business you're in, you can adapt them to the business. The habits work, and you will see a good return on that investment, and it will exponentially grow. And then the last thing I'll say with that, when you connect with Clay Clark, you need to set your bar high. He will not let you set that bar low, because he's going to stretch you, he's going to push you, and he's going to get the, I'll just say it like this, he will pull the potential out of you and get you believing again in a good way. So highly recommend it.
It's working with you has been an honor. It's a true win-win. For anybody out there that's looking for health optimization, check it out at Sherwood.tv, Sherwood.tv. And again, what you do is so analogous for health to what we do for wealth. And so for anybody out there, if you're looking to optimize your health, check out Sherwood.tv, Sherwood.tv. Dr. Sherwood, thank you so much. And again, for anybody out there that doesn't know the story here, which should be everybody, you and I were just talking offline the other day, and you were saying, hey, Clay, I just want you to know, since you and I first connected, we're up, 8 times. And I just thought, well, man, there's so much discouragement in the world we live in. We need to document this and get this on camera. So thank you for keeping us updated, sir. And I can't wait to have you on the show next week.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, as always.
Take care. Bye-bye. Well, Thrive Nation, we here at the Thrivetime Show, what we do is we help business owners to grow their businesses. The purpose is to create time freedom and financial freedom. And we've had a long time client that we've worked with, and this is sort of like our exit interview, because he's actually exited the business, and so he's at the other end of the rainbow, or he got to the top of the mountain, or he hit his big goal. And I'm honored to call him a friend and a longtime client. Tim Whaley, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing outstanding, Clay. Thank you for having me on.
Can you tell everybody, how did you first hear about what we do in terms of business coaching?
I first heard of you through your podcast, actually. So I started listening, was very intrigued. Actually, you had built and sold businesses in the industry that I was in. So it seemed like a natural fit to inquire about coaching.
Yeah.
And, once we connected and you did your, I'm not sure if it was an onboarding interview or it was more of you were going to determine whether or not we were a good fit. I think that was it. But once we did that, I was hooked and was really hoping that you would take me on as a client, which you did.
Now, before I met you, I mean, you'd been in business for a long time, and one would say you were probably the dominant resource, or one of the top providers in your industry before we even met. Could you tell the listeners how implementing the Dream 100 system impacted your business growth?
Oh my gosh! So within just a few short years, it doubled our revenue. plain and simple. So Dream 100 was by far the secret sauce for our success, and really the reason why I was able to exit my business ahead of schedule. So just a brilliant program, makes total sense. As a company, it's one of the few marketing / advertising outlets that you have total control over. It's not like you're on, Facebook, which owns Facebook, or Google, which owns Google. But I mean, you own the system, you make it work, and great things happen.
Now, with the Dream 100, you have to identify the vendors that you want to refer you, or the prospects that you want to refer you. You have to identify the ideal and likely buyers that you want to refer you, and then you have to reach out to them consistently. And you guys have done a phenomenal job at doing that. What were a couple of the challenges of persistently reaching out to people to get them to refer you guys business?
Well, a couple things. One, you just really have to find the right fit. You have to find the right employee or employees. Because really, when you're going out there, you need somebody who's obviously great at building relationships. And that's a lot of different people. But what I found is you also just need a hunter killer. So it's not necessarily somebody who's very personable and great with people, but somebody with those qualities, but also just has like I said, a hunter killer, just has a drive to bring business in. And you find that person, and they just make it happen. And we were fortunate enough to find a couple great employees who were just very good at that.
And now that you have sold the business, you're going to stay on as an advisor to make sure that the brand is successful and that sort of thing. What does it feel like to be on the other side of the rainbow, or to be at the top of the mountain, or to be on the other side of selling a business that you started so many years ago?
Well, Clay, it's only been 6 weeks. So obviously some mixed feelings there. But if I had to put it in one word, I would have to say freedom.
Okay. Yeah.
So it feels pretty darn good. And my wife and I are very excited. Now, obviously, we're still, we're still helping the new ownership transition and whatnot. So there's stuff we're doing and stuff to be done. But overall, it's, when you've been hitting it hard for 33 years, and then all of a sudden you don't have to, it feels pretty darn good. Not going to lie.
Now, Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I recently interviewed him, and he had me on his show, and it's been kind of fun to connect with this guy who wrote the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, and it's just fun to connect with him. And he's been talking borderline obsessively on his show recently about it's not what people say, it's what they do. You need to watch what people do, not what they say. And I think a big thing about having a business coach or a personal trainer, if you're into fitness, is if you're into fitness, you need to have a nutritional plan, you need to have a workout plan, and then you need someone to hold you accountable. And if you're a business owner, you need to have a business plan, you need to have weekly actions that you need to implement, and then you need to have some accountability. How has having a business consultant or a coach to guide you down the path, how has that impacted you?
Tremendously. So there's a running joke between my wife and I. I will often say I'm the most consistently inconsistent person you want to meet. So historically, I've been the guy who starts this, goes for a little while, and then, sees I'm like a squirrel, right? I see the next great thing, and I'll go after that for a while. And then, so I'm an artist, right? I'm a photographer first, and business guy second, I guess. So you have helped corral my artist brain. And having, the weekly accountability calls and the action plan has definitely helped me stay focused on what needs to be focused on. So yeah, it's been life-changing, nothing short of life-changing.
Now, I want to pull up something real quick and get your thoughts on this because, you and I have worked together, I think for what was that, 3 years, or was it, how long did we work together there before you exited the business? Do you know?
We started in 2019.
So 2019. Okay. So we've worked together for quite a while there. And, so 2019, wow. So that's almost 5 years, 4.5 years or so. But if we do a search for carpet cleaning quotes, I've worked with one particular brand for 14 years, I think almost 15 now, and they have 271,000 Google reviews. So for 14 consecutive years, I've been talking to the same ownership about you have to gather objective Google reviews from your ideal and likely buyers. You have to get reviews. After you clean the carpet, you have to gather video reviews and Google reviews. And we talk about it every week. And it's just like it's like bamboo. I keep coming back every week. You can't kill it. I come back every week talking about the reviews. And in a world now where people go online to look stuff up, this has been a powerful tool for oxyfresh.com. It's grown from a handful of locations now to 500 plus locations. How has gathering objective Google reviews and video reviews impacted your sales process?
Well, I feel it's a 1-2 punch, Clay. So Dream 100 and the reviews work hand in hand. So the majority of our business comes from the Dream 100, but that's one referral source. So our couples will be referred by venues, but they want to check us out. So they're going to go online and look for our reviews. So not only do you have to have a ton of reviews, but you have to have a ton of 5-star reviews. And so the referrals plus the social proof on Google brings them in.
Final questions I have for you, then I'll be done harassing you here, is, you now have got all the systems, the scripts, the website, the ads that work, the Dream 100 system going. And so to give people some clarity, you now have a turnkey marketing system in place. I mean, you have a Dream 100 system that works. You now have an online advertising program that works. You now have a sales process that works. It's all documented. It's all systemized for the new owner. So what would you say for anybody out there that is maybe thinking about coming to one of our in-person workshops or scheduling a free 13-point assessment with myself or a member of our team? What would you say to somebody who's kind of on the fence about maybe coming to a workshop or scheduling a free 13-point assessment?
Get off the fence. Just get off the fence. Bottom line. You've helped make my company sellable, right? So those systems is exactly what made our company attractive to the buyer. They were looking for a company that was highly successful, that they could then take and scale.
Yep.
And our business qualified because of what we've done over the last 5 years. And so, yeah, I would not hesitate. I've told anybody who's ever asked me about my coaching relationship with you and your organization, I said, I wouldn't hesitate. Never in a million years. You have literally changed my life as a result of what you've taught me.
You have got to come to Tulsa one of these days here. So I know you guys are going to enjoy your retirement or whatever it is you're doing. But at some point, if you ever get the bug and you ever start a new thing or you ever in the Tulsa area, I really want to see you guys. And you have my cell phone number. We can talk whenever. But I want to tell you, it's been an honor working with you. And it's been so exciting to help you hit your goals. And I know you've worked 30 plus years to go on this dream vacation lifestyle that you've built. What would you say to anybody out there that has a business and they feel, my final question for you, they feel overwhelmed by all the systems they have to build, and they're not at the top of the mountain. They haven't sold the business yet. It isn't systemized, and all they see is perpetual chaos. What would you say to that person?
Just take the next step, right? Every journey begins with the next step, and that next step should definitely be contacting you guys.
Tim,
if they just do that, the rest will take care of itself. You make sure of that. So,
Tim, it's an honor serving you again. I appreciate you very much, and don't be a stranger there, sir.
You got it. Thank you, Clay.
Take care, Chief. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Whoa.
Hey guys, Luke Erickson here with the Thrivetime Show. As you can see behind me, we've got all kinds of energy going on. People are starting to show up for the conference, and it is hot in this place. We got grill guns over here. We've got people playing the drums. We've got a fire breather, and man, people are so excited as they come in.
Gentlemen, let me introduce you to the grill gun.
Hi, I'm Bob Healy. I'm the inventor of the grill gun and the sous vide gun.
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma. During the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, 2024, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. Yes, folks, put it in your calendar. This December, the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business growth workshop. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to learn branding, you want to learn marketing, you want to learn search engine optimization, you want to learn social media marketing, that's what we teach at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive workshop. If you want to learn accounting, you want to learn sales systems, you want to learn how to build a linear workflow, you want to learn how to franchise your business, that is what we teach at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to feature Michael Levine, the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson. We've had the top PR consultant in the history of the planet has spoken at the Thrivetime Show workshops. We've had Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, a company that creates apparel worn by celebrities all throughout the world. Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, has spoken at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshops. We have had the man who's responsible for turning around Harley Davidson, a man by the name of Ken Schmidt. He has spoken at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops. Folks, I'm telling you, these events are going to teach you what you need to know to start and grow a successful business. And the way we price the events, the way we do these events, is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, we've designed these events to be affordable for you, and we want to see you live and in person at the 2-day interactive December 5th and 6th Thrivetime Show Business Workshop. Everything that you need to succeed will be taught at the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Workshop, December 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the way we do these events is we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a question and answer session so that wonderful people like you can have your questions answered. Yes, we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a 15-minute question and answer session. It's interactive. It's 2 days. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing these events since 2005, and I'm telling you, folks, it's going to blow your mind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop is America's highest rated and most reviewed business workshop. See the thousands of video testimonials from real people just like you who've been able to build multi-million-dollar companies. Watch those testimonials today at thrivetimeshow.com. Simply by clicking on the testimonials button right there at thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to see thousands of people just like you who've been able to go from just surviving to thriving. Whoa. Each and every day, we're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup, but I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And someone says, Tulsa, Jerusalem. It's I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrivetime Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
First of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, "Have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?" And I said, "No." And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed, to the business owner, to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you, thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much, and thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, "I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this."
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa. I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York. Acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I went to a small private liberal arts college and got a degree in business, and I didn't learn anything like they're teaching here. I didn't learn linear workflows. I learned stuff that I am not using, and I haven't been using for the last 9 years. So what they're teaching here is actually way better than what I got at business school. And I went what was actually ranked as a very good business school. The linear workflow for us in getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side.
Once I saw what they were doing, I knew I had to get here at the conference. This is probably the best conference or seminar I've ever been to in over 30 years in business.
You're not bored. You're awake, alive the whole time. It's not pushy. They don't try to sell you a bunch of things.
I was looking to learn how to just get control of my life, my schedule, and just get control of the business.
Planning your time, breaking it all down, making time for the F6 in your life, and just really implementing it and sticking with the program.
It's really lively. They're pretty friendly, helpful, very welcoming.
I attended a conference a couple months back, and it was really the best business conference I've ever attended.
At the workshop, I learned a lot about time management, really prioritizing what's the most important.
biggest takeaways are, you want to take a step-by-step approach to your business. Whether it's marketing, what are those 3 marketing tools that you want to use, to human resources.
Some of the most successful people and successful businesses in this town, their owners were here today because they wanted to know more from Clay, and I found that to be kind of fascinating.
The most valuable thing that I've learned is diligence, that businesses don't change overnight. It takes time and effort, and you got to go through the ups and downs of getting it to where you want to go.
He actually gives you the roadmap out. I was stuck, didn't know what to do, and he gave me the roadmap out step by step.
We've set up systems in the business that make my life much easier, allow me some time freedom.
Here you can ask any question you want. They guarantee it'll be answered.
This conference motivates me and also give me a lot of knowledge and tools.
It's up to you to do it. Everybody can do these things. There's stuff that everybody knows, but if you don't do it, nobody else can do it for you.
I can see the marketing working, and it's just an approach that makes sense.
Probably the most notable thing is just the income increase that we've had.
Everyone's super fun, it's super motivating. I've been here before, but I'm back again because it motivates me.
Your competition's going to come eventually, or try to pick up these tactics. So you better, if you don't, somebody else will.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top K9, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top K9. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See? It's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood.
This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
So we really just want to thank you, Clay, and thank you, Vanessa, for everything you've done, everything you've helped us with. We love you guys.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement.
Okay, Aaron Antis, September 25th and 26th. Guess who's coming back to Tulsa? I will give you a hint. His first name is Eric, and his last name is Trump. Whoa. And his father is the 47th president of these United States. Yes, Eric Trump is joining us once again here September 25th and 26th in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the 2-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. But Eric Trump is bringing friends. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Alina Haba will be joining Eric Trump right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Amanda Grace will be in the place. Dr. Stella Emanuel will be here in T-Town in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Julie Green will be on the scene. Mel K will be here to say hey. Dave Scarlett from the His Glory team will be here. It's going to be a blasty blast right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you want to start or grow a super successful company, if you want to make your wallet great again or make your wallet great for the first time, if you want to learn marketing, systems, scaling, human resources, accounting, social media, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and more, get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. Well, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, he needed a competent man to run and execute his business plans. Showtime! So the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint.
Right.
I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him, character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had 419 people that were here. 419 people.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what, we should probably add on.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. And anybody, don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and so to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years. So let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah. We're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities, and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks, and it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis.
Sure.
There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
I should write that down and I can do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that we duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, You have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business.
It's tough.
But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money, just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I have been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
For the last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
Whoa. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And Jill Donovan, our good friend, who is the founder of Rustic Cuff. She started that company in her home, and now she sells millions of dollars of apparel and products. That's rusticcuff.com. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma, and nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in the it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns the what do you call that? The rental,
a storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time, developing an online system. And a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that, his stuff is not, revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff.
It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now, you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. You think that's going to change your life? I promise you this will be 10 times better than that.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. It is life-changing. It is life-changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life-changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right, really. So if you're looking to have life-changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
So you've grown by 3.45 million.
Yeah, 3,450,000.
Would that be like if you took the combined revenue, maybe doubled it? Have we gone up by
about almost 3, not quite.